we are going to use the properties of equality to solve linear equations. Our steps, we're going to use the distributive property, then combine like terms, then move the variables to one side of the equation, then undo adding and subtracting, and then undo multiplication and division. So let's start. Directions say solve the linear equation. And we're given 2x plus 3 plus x minus 8 equals 55. So again, remember when you're solving an equation, you're trying to get x by itself on one side of the equal sign and move everything else to the other side. So our equal side sign is over here. You have 55s on a side all by itself, so you got to look over here at this left-hand side. You have no parentheses, so you can't use the distributive property. We have a bunch of like terms, so let's take a look at our like terms. 2x plus x can be combined. That would give us 3x because 2x plus x is really 2x plus 1x, so that's 3x. And then your constants, your numbers without any x's, you have 3 plus negative 8, so that would give us negative 5. So when I combine my like terms over on the left-hand side of the equation, I have 3x minus 5, and then I bring down my equals 55. So from here, this is a two-step equation. I don't have any variables on the right-hand side. I just have one variable. I have the x over on the left. So I have to start undoing my addition and subtraction, and we're going to use properties of equality. Since I have minus 5, I'm going to go ahead and use my subtraction property of equality. So I'm thinking in my head the inverse of minus 5 is adding 5. So to undo subtracting 5, we're going to add 5 to both the left and right side of that equal sign. So when we do that, negative 5 plus 5, those are opposites. They add to 0, so they cancel out. So I have to bring down my 3x. And then 55 plus 5 is 60. I have to do that addition. So I have 60 there. So my equation becomes 3x equals 60. From here, I'm going to use my next property of equality. I'm going to use the multiplication property of equality. So the inverse of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. So I'm going to divide both sides of my equation by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times x is just x. So on my left I have just 1x, which is x. On my right-hand side, 60 divided by 3 is 20. So my answer is x equals 20. If you wanted to check, you could take that 20 and go back and plug it in for the x's and see if you get what's on the right-hand side of the equation. I'm not going to do that in this video, though. Let's look at one more example. So we're going to solve the linear equation. We're given x minus 20 equals 6 parentheses x plus 2. So this is a little bit different from the previous example because now we have parentheses on one of the sides. Since we have parentheses, we're going to start by using the distributive property. So I'm going to take that 6 parentheses x plus 2 and apply the distributive property. Here is it shown out. You're going to take 6 and multiply by x and take 6 times 2. So you get 6x plus 12. So I'm going to rewrite the right-hand side of this equation as 6x plus 12. So from here, I don't have any like terms on the left side to combine. I don't have any like terms on the right-hand side to combine. So I'm going to move on to my next step, move the variables to one side of the equation. Notice how you have an 8x on the left and a 6x on the right. Since we have variables on both sides of the equation, you have to move them to one side of the equation. Most people like to take the smaller number and move that one, but the choice is completely up to you. I'm going to use the addition property of equality and undo adding 6x with subtracting 6x. So I will subtract 6x from both sides. 6x minus 6x is 0. They add up to 0, so they cancel out. I'm left with 12, so I would bring a 12 down on the right-hand side. And then on the left, 8x minus 6x, 8 minus 6 is 2, so that would be 2x. I still have the minus 20, so my equation is now 2x minus 20 equals 12. This is just a two-step equation. I have to undo the multiplication or undo the addition or subtraction first, and then the multiplication or division next. So I'm going to use the subtraction property of equality. The inverse of subtracting 20 is adding 20, so I'm going to add 20 to the left and right side of my equation. And I get the following. 12 plus 20 is 32. And then on the left-hand side, negative 20 plus 20 is 0, so those 20s cancel, and I have to bring down my 2x. So my equation is 2x equals 32. My last step is to use the multiplication property of equality. I'm going to undo multiplying by 2 with division. The inverse of multiplication is division, so I'm going to divide both sides of my equation by 2. When I do that, I get the following. 2 divided by 2, those 2's cancel out. So I'm going to cross them off. I'm left with x, and then 32 divided by 2 is 16. So my solution would be x equals 16. And again, I'm not going to do a check here, but if you wanted to check your solution, you would take that 16 and you would plug it in for both of those x's up on the top and see if the left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side.